Welcome to Alpha Book Club. I'm Hector Navarro, and joining me, as always, are Nerdist Editor-in-Chief Rachel Hine and Maude Garrett. Yay!
Yay!
Hello.
We've all seen Wonder Woman now, and a lot of us drank a lot before we started this show. So a big, warm welcome to our Alpha community. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Glass of wine. This month, we're reading The Princess Bride by William Goldman, which is, of course, his interpretation of S. Morgenstern's classic tale of true love and high adventure, The Princess Bride.
A
What?
classic tale.
Does that sound confusing? I was confused. I got tricked.
Oh, really quickly, super
yeah.
quickly, I have that dress in my wardrobe.
Wait, pull that picture up again. What dress? The dress that Buttercup is wearing?
Buttercup wears going into the fire
nice.
swamp is a dress that I owned, and that was the dress that I bought when I was going to the very first Ren Fair, when I got asked, because the guy that I was seeing was going to go as the Dread Pirate Roberts.
And he didn't.
He pretty much ended things with me the night before Ren Fair, and so he went and didn't care about Ren Fair. He went dressed up, and I never got to use the dress that year.
You should wear it next week.
A bunch of people in the
Yeah.
chat are going to be...
The last
Yeah.
week of the
Okay,
book,
great.
I promise you, we will all be dressing up.
Oh yeah, okay.
Huh? Wait,
Ooh,
what?
Fun.
Yes!
Oh, wait, I just thought of.
I call Inigo Montoya.
You killed my father.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna.
killed my father.
Prepare to die.
Who are
I'm
you
gonna.
dress up as?
Ooh, I don't know. There's too many good. I could do Miracle Max. I could do.
Yes.
I could do Dread Pirate Roberts. I could do. There's so many good ones. I don't know.
Marriage.
Is what brings us together
Coke hat,
today.
that
today.
It
Cool,
depends
so
on
that's
what I
gonna
can
happen.
scrounge, but I'm definitely gonna. Oh, that's
Boo! Boo!
rubbish.
That's great.
Slime
Oh,
muck.
man.
The whole thing.
I
Yes.
bet you a bunch of people in chat are now going to be asking Maude to Ren Fair, and they'll be like, I'll dress up, because I'm sure that they'll...
Yeah,
go
that's
and
still
do that.
on my bucket list slash
I've never been.
You ever
list.
been to Ren Fair? Really?
What?
Good time. They got good alcohol there.
No, I've never
Yes,
been.
Really good
they
alcohol there.
do.
Really good
It makes
alcohol.
you want to drop your sword.
That's right. Guys, we're talking about The Princess Bride, the book. It was a book before it was a movie.
Book.
And this book was written by William Goldman. He went and adapted his own book as well to for the script. He wrote the script. And it is a pretend adaptation of The Princess Bride by S. Morgenstern, which is a fake person. There is no S. Morgenstern. I got really confused.
Hold
and I
on,
looked
there
it
is.
up.
I don't
No, it's-
understand all that.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna blow your
I-
mind even further because I looked it up because
Yeah.
I was reading it and I was like, okay, this is obviously William Goldman because of the humor and all of the really
Yes.
fun parenthetical asides in there. But also, and we can get into it, but the intros, I was like, dude, fuck this guy. I hate him. I hate him so much. But I looked it up and his whole intro is fictional too.
Correct. Everything is
His
fictional.
wife is in
Okay,
a
yeah,
psych-
that 10-year-old grandson
He has two daughters.
was
Yeah.
way too
They're not.
fabricated.
It's so
Yep.
none of it is
Yep.
is real. So I was like, what's true and what's not?
I-
Everything is a lie.
Where do you draw the line with
It
this
was-
then?
it was
Where do you draw
really-
the lying? I should say, because that's what's happening.
It's tough because it like made me not on his side
Yeah.
before I
Totally.
started
Yeah.
reading a book that I'm like, I know I'm
Fucking
gonna love this
inconceivable,
book
man.
because I love this story. I know that I'm gonna. There are some
think
apparently
that would
in his introduction. There are some things that are true. Some
Yes.
of the stories about him on the set of the film are true, but others are not. Him talking to Andre the Giant, I don't think is true because Andre the
What?
Giant talks about how he did research for the character of Fezzik the Giant by actually going to the S. Morgenstern Museum in Florence.
Which doesn't exist.
Florence doesn't exist.
Yeah,
That's not a country. They
There's,
weren't
like,
shooting in
Florence
Florence. There's
historians
no
would scoff at
there's
this.
no
It's all
S.
fake.
Morgenstern Museum, so all of that was fake. But the
That's
story
bullshit.
of being on set on the first day and they're filming in the swamps, the fire swamps, and
That
there was
the
a shot.
first day?
One of the first days, I think, there was a shot where Robin Wright's dress caught on fire,
Yes.
as it's supposed to, and William Goldman said, "Her dress is on fire. Her dress is on fire," and Rob Reiner had to be like, "Cut, William. It's supposed to be on fire." And he was like, "I'm so sorry," and then like left. He like got out of the way. He just feels like he's always in the way. So that apparently did happen.
Okay.
But other things in his introduction did not happen. And this is the beautifully illustrated
Yeah.
Yeah.
30th anniversary, I think it is, or 35th or something. 30th anniversary
Well,
of the
I'm
book.
20.
Yeah, so you're 20. So this book was
we're
written
14.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
You're 14 years old.
You were
Maude.
just born.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 20.
When
Again,
not even the movie's like.
thank you guys on the set for getting non-alcoholic wine from Maude. That's really nice. Yeah, so
check, shall I?
Wait,
he has a
Jews? Sorry, rest of it all. Okay.
he has an intro to the intro And then it kind of goes into the story. And in his first introduction, he said that he wouldn't have written this new introduction for this new edition, but then something happened. And then he recounts a story with his fictional grandson about the S. Morgenstern Museum.
There is no Miss Rozhensky.
No. His teacher that he sent the book to. I'm so sorry. And then the second introduction, I
And
think.
he doesn't have a son. He has 2 daughters.
He has 2 daughters.
And his wife isn't a
Psychiatrist.
psychiatrist.
And in that second intro, I think he talks about getting the book,
take it out
the
on the
book
book.
for
That's
his
just- well, I'm just-
son the first time, right?
What
There
was-
Is he still alive?
There was
Yeah.
a story.
Is William Goldman still alive?
Yeah.
I believe so.
He's
Yeah,
in
well,
his
he'll see
80s.
this, won't he?
Yeah.
That was for you, Bill.
And then through all of that,
dad's
there he
name.
is, Bill Goldman. So he wrote the book in 1973, and he adapted it for the movie in 1987 that came out in 1987. Of course, the movie stars Robin Wright,
Yes.
aka Antiope, aka
my
the
mummy.
woman from House of Cards, aka
Claire Underwood.
Maud's, Claire Underwood, Maud's mummy.
HBIC, perfectly tailored outfits, taking over the world.
HBIC,
Dun, dun,
Carrie
dun,
Elwes,
dun,
Mandy
dun,
Patinkin,
dun,
Andre the Giant,
dun,
Wallace
dun,
Shawn,
dun, dun.
Billy Crystal. It's just the Christopher Guest. The movie
Guys,
is
are we really
is-
going to
is
start watching this movie?
brilliant.
Because I don't want to talk. We're going to play the movie. I'm just
Yeah,
going to watch it. If
we
that's
should.
you.
And right now we're reading the. Yeah, see, Pinkish, she says, I felt kind of deceived reading the
Yeah, but-
intro. I agree.
Yeah.
It made me not like the guy and some of his attitudes towards. You need some help with that?
Yeah, I'm stuck. I can't.
Okay, here, let me get. No, okay, we got it.
I did this. I made this bed. you
Some
know.
of his attitudes, I think, towards women kind of find their way into they're a little bit old school, antiquated, and they find their way into the book. But we're talking about specifically the copy that I'm reading has the 30th anniversary intro and the 25th anniversary
Yep.
intro, Plague Wind. Yep, that's what we got
And
too.
Plague, thanks so much for tweeting a picture of you reading the book as well. I think you were like dedicated.
Yeah,
and
at
in
work
the
instead of
zone.
doing work. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
hey.
cool. I like it.
We're drinking on the job too. So.
That's right.
Whatever.
We're talking about the first 3 chapters. And scroll up a little bit. What is this? What's this about his obsession with at the S. Morgenstern? So this is we just kind of the intros, right?
Yeah.
We got both the 25th anniversary edition forward and the 30th edition, which
Mm-hmm.
added some more insight for Goldman, his fictional family, and his obsession with the S. Morgenstern's creation.
I'm just angry. I don't know
Yeah.
if you picked up on that when I threw the book 3 times.
Yep.
I was just like, I thought that there was a museum. I thought we were finding out that the fact that this author, who's not even fucking real anymore,
Yeah.
did decide to maybe not make Inigo kill the Count. You
Mm-hmm.
know, all these sorts of things. And I was like, wow, I'm learning so much that I never knew. Oh,
Yeah,
because
did you
it's
think that
not
Inigo Montoya was a real person, like
No.
is described in the intro? I did.
Well,
That's
it
why I looked
feels-
it up. I went, wait, was Inigo a real
Oh,
person?
they based it all on real characters. Yeah, that I was a little bit iffy about. And then I thought, you know what, I could look it up or I could have you two tell me because I know that you'll look it up. And that's what's happening right now.
It's what's happening right now. The other brilliant thing is a lot of people think that the Dread Pirate Roberts as a character and as a creation is based off of an actual famous pirate. Not the case, but there
Really meta.
were pirates that their last name was Roberts. There were pirates in pirate history, and I think that speaks to the really timeless nature of this story. William Goldman is just drawing from every single fairy tale and so many different mythologies and fairy tales that, like, yeah, it makes sense that there's all of those elements squashed together, and they feel like that Florin could be like a real country that was warring with.
I thought it was
Absolutely.
Florin.
Like-
I thought Florin was Florence.
Right, yeah.
before.
I mean, I think that I like the framework conceptually. I like that it's a story about, like, the way that he's writing it is as a story that he heard when he was a kid and that his, father skipped over all the boring stuff.
Makes sense.
I love all
Does he
of
even have a
that.
father? It's probably an immaculate
It
conception.
was Immaculate Conception.
For fuck's
yeah.
sake.
But I don't like the character he portrays in this.
Right.
I like the idea that some of it is real and some of it is fake, and it's pulled off of these swashbuckling stories and potentially real
Yeah.
characters. But I was like, this guy is such an asshole.
Yeah.
I want, and he's
Especially
in
because-
Beverly Hills, and I'm
Yes,
just like, I just
talking
wanna
about
throw a
movie
drink.
deals. Talking about movie deals,
Oh,
and
I
I'm
just
like,
wanted to throw a drink in his
here's the
face.
problem.
I was hoping that
He's
the
talking about how
actress
fat
would.
his son was.
yeah, yeah.
Could
And
roll
lied
faster
to
than he
his
could
wife
walk.
on the phone who
Yeah.
he's like, and just the way he talked about his dinner, everything about him, I was like,
Yeah.
you
He just
suck.
left and sat in a park for a little bit because his son couldn't read a
a
boring book. Like he comes off
baby.
like such a jerk. And it's
Yeah.
what the most frustrating thing is that I'm
choice.
I'm used to the most amazing framing device in a movie, which is Peter Falk reading a story to Fred Savage, his grandson.
Okay.
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 Here we go. And it's like
Okay.
he's like the
Okay.
look it again, Peter. Look it again, Peter.
Mwah.
Get in there, Peter.
Okay.
He's the greatest. So like this sweetest old man who is then telling the story of the Princess Bride is in stark contrast to the character that William Goldman's playing in the intros. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If it was that character, if it was a character like that kind of a vibe was the intro, I would be so on board of like, tell me more about your relationship with your grandson. I want to know more about that, the mom in the house and what's that like, and you're the grandpa and you brought this book over, you know. But the fact that it's like a Hollywood sleazy schmarmy guy, I lost it. And it so much so that reading the rest of the story, at first I didn't hear Peter Falk's voice until like a little bit into chapter 1. Then I started hearing him as the narrator, which is what I wanted.
Yes.
That's what I wanted. I don't want to hear a Hollywood guy telling me about Buttercup. I wanted to hear the grandpa
Did
talk
we
about
ever
Buttercup.
find out why he decided to make this very fictional? Because he's saying, and this is where I get a little bit
Yes,
burnt.
I know a little bit.
Great.
And I think it's in some intros, but I also researched it a little bit. It started with him telling a story to his daughters, and he said, what do you want me to tell you a story about? And this guy, William Goldman's an incredible screenwriter, author, like he's a writer.
Yeah.
And one daughter said,
Butch Cassidy.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid wrote it,
Yeah.
and that's the only other thing other than Princess Bride that he still likes to this day. Everything else he's like, it's bad.
I got that.
Yeah.
So that was true.
True.
Yes.
Okay.
True. But he asked his daughters, what should I tell you a story about? One daughter said, tell us a story about a princess. The other daughter said, tell us a story about a bride. So he combined them, and that's where the name Buttercup came from. I think is one of the daughters named the main character Buttercup.
No adult named that woman. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's where that came from. And then as he was writing the story, he said that certain scenes came to him and he just cranked them out. But then he wanted to kind of maybe skip around and do other things and not tell like the full sort of beginning, middle, end. So he created this framing device of, I'll just be somebody who's like adapting it and deciding to cut out the boring parts, and I'll it'll make it a little jokey thing so that he could skip right to the stuff that he wanted to write essentially.
Now they say never meet your idols. I wish I never met the truth of my favorite movie.
So far, I think once I do, I think once you get, well, correct me if do you like once you get into the story, do you like it more?
No.
You don't like it so far?
Well, yes, I do, because I was thinking it was the real thing, that it really was an adaptation from this real fucking author, which isn't the
Maud,
case.
at one point you're reading it and he says this was before Money,
Yeah.
but this was after Stew. You had to have known like this is
Taxes
historically
always come
incorrect.
before.
Do you remember where it said?
But then he clarifies
hey,
it.
but
Yeah.
If the parentheses, if you don't like them,
Don't read them.
Don't read. Didn't read them.
You stop reading the
Skip
parentheses.
over them.
Maud, they're some of the best parts.
But that's where okay, so here's my take on it, because The Princess Bride is like a perfect movie. It's so great. Everything about it. It has heart. It has adventure. It has romance.
giant eels.
It's exactly. Yeah.
Eclipse
Revenge, true love. But it
Passion.
the humor, I think, that's in the actual story,
Mm-hmm.
The Princess Bride, carries over that sort of wry.
Totally.
What's the word I'm thinking?
Irreverent?
Yes, irreverent humor. But what I noticed in the first chapter especially is that some of the sweetness and the sort of it feels classic and maybe just cinematic in general.
Yes.
That those elements he goes like he's a little too clever in some of it. Like all of the stuff between Buttercup and Wesley in the first
Oh,
chapter
I wanted to.
was a lot, whereas in that first scene you don't need all of that. And it's usually the other way around, that the book expands upon the scene in a way that helps it. But I felt
So you're watching this, comparing it to the movie, you're like, I understand why they cut out Buttercup's parents, for instance. They're not in the
Yes.
film.
So
You
he
don't need
literally
them.
became William Goldman himself
Yeah.
on his own book.
Yes.
Where he cut out all the
to write the
superfluous-
script.
all the non-cinematic stuff.
Wow, he is an inception of himself.
Which says to me, like, he is a talented writer. Like, he knows what works and
The
what doesn't.
mediums.
Like, he knows the
you're
mediums.
Liar!
Yeah.
If you're
Liar! He's a liar, though. That's my problem that I have.
but there's
Yeah,
a lot.
aren't
but
all writers liars?
A little bit.
So all actors.
Yeah, but I do also look at American Gods so far, the adaptation versus the story. They've added so much
Sure.
to the show, and that's a way that is really well done, and you can tell that it's expanding on the narrative and building out the world for the medium. It's
Yes.
not going to work the same exact way, even though we thought we were like, oh, this, this can work that way. Brian Fuller, Michael Green
They
saw
know.
it and they knew what to do, and I feel the same way with this, where having Peter Falk, having that sweetness in the beginning and this family kind of vibe to it in the beginning and back and forth and coming of age and learning something, that makes this whole thing so much sweeter. It's still funny, it's still wry,
agree,
but
I
it
agree.
has that heart to it that so
Yes.
far we don't have.
Have you guys thought, and a question to you guys in the chat, have you pictured,
But I'm still enjoying it.
imagined reading this book without having seen the movie? What would you think of the book? Is it possible to even imagine that, or is that too?
I think you'd get very, very lost in the fact that there are like so many multiple layers where he's talking about
Yes.
now a fictional writer with a fictional place and then like fictional reflection. I think that would be very kind of unbecoming.
What if you just don't know that?
Well, then you would have
we
been
didn't
me
look
like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, what if you
Kinda
did?
great.
Yeah, if you didn't look it up, then it's just and then afterwards you'd be like, wow. I mean, because there is some serious artistry here, even if there is a little bit of that heart missing from it. But I am enjoying it, and I feel like it reminds me kind of not Douglas Adams because the humor is so different. But
Yeah.
that-
Is it
I get
though?
it. I get it.
I got that
Jokey.
all the parentheses I was reading
a
from
little
it had the, but that is before that time, which was after that time. It was very narrating
Yeah.
of the whole hitchhikers, I felt.
Absolutely.
I thought that was very
And somebody in the
poetic.
chat just said that was reminiscent of Puck line from Midsummer Night's
Yes.
Dream as well. Very Shakespearean, very classic.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
classic comedy. I think that this book is really, really funny. I think that the movie is next level. I think the film is obviously is something really, really special. But I think this book is super funny. Once we get to, we've only read the first 3 chapters so far and we're in it. I'm really enjoying it now. And I still think that things that I love about the film are absolutely in the book, especially when after, for example, it's just some great writing, when Buttercup finds that he died.
Yeah.
The way that it was written was really, really good. Where it's
yeah.
just like, let me see here. He was supreme as usual. He was spectacular. He was singularly fabulous. Oh, she could go on for hours. Sometimes it got a little tough for the listeners to maintain strict attention, but they did their best since Buttercup loved him so completely. Next line. Which was why Wesley's death hit her the way it did. What? He had written to her just before, just that kind of like quick jumping to, which is why his death hit her the way that it did. I think that it's
Well, that's
very
what
good
Douglas
writing.
Adams would do as well. And
That's
that was the last
very
time
Douglas
or the second
Adams.
last thing that they ever did.
Exactly.
And you're like, what?
And then you have to. Well, I also think too that one of the things that was bothering me about Buttercup a little bit, because Robin Wright's performance is so iconic in this role, was that I was
Farm
like,
boy,
God,
let's
she's
do that picture. Oh.
yeah, she has such like gravitas to her, even at that kind of young age, and so I
Yeah.
think showing her the character of Buttercup as a little more selfish, a little more
Oh my, she honestly.
self-indulgent, and which is, I mean, teenagers, to be fair.
Yes
but
and no. I actually stamped that whole part where overnight she realizes, why is this countess who's so spectacularly beautiful, who's 30 plus, why is she staring at him? Oh my God, I'm in love with Wesley.
yeah.
Only because someone else wanted him, but now I must have him.
Yeah.
And I think the most powerful, I'm going to need a moment if I keep watching this.
Grab that picture, boy. Grab that picture. Don't even break eye contact.
Oh,
So
God.
good.
Carrie, don't even break eye
They are eye
contact.
fucking
Damn.
without protection.
Damn.
Damn.
They're getting eye pregnant right now. Are you kidding me?
So
Don't cut to us. Leave it on them. Just leave it on the screen.
that is so much better than
Then-
The page of her
Yes.
confession.
oh my God, she literally was vomiting
Yeah.
her love
Yeah.
out without, it was like
Yeah.
a gushing spew. And my favorite part was when she I think she started it saying, I realize I've been in love with you for the last few hours.
Yeah.
But this is how in love with you I am, even
Yeah.
though it's only been for the last few hours. And
Yeah.
it takes her from being a woman who kind of gets life, who isn't about guys, who's happy to ride horse
Yeah.
everywhere, to an infatuated little girl. And I don't like to see my Buttercup like that. Because she's just not. She never was, really.
Yeah, I think, and I think we'll see as we get deeper into the book that potentially, I don't know if
Yeah, I
they'll
wonder-
address this,
yeah.
but addressing that fact that they didn't know each other before he left, and so when they reunite, maybe that will be addressed in a bigger way than it is in the film. And I hated that part too. I was like, who
Also, the
is
way that
this
Wesley,
Buttercup?
the way that Wesley closes the door, I'm like, I knew exactly what was going to happen.
But it
He was
didn't
gonna
make
leave.
sense.
Yeah.
It didn't
I'm
make
like-
sense if he was only saying as you wish and he didn't know how to
Yes.
say as you wish because she literally said about 422 words. I understand that he was overwhelmed. But for me, I actually
As you
thought
wish,
back
yeah.
to that and it didn't make sense because he didn't say just as you wish. He also
I think
said
it
his
was
name.
being written to be written funny, and it wasn't being
Yes.
written to sort of serve characters or play that out realistically. It was written to be written funny, like, and then he closed the door on her, and then she
And
went
she
to
ran
her
into
room
a
and
tree.
tried.
No, no, no. She
Yeah.
ran into a tree, fell back.
That's
so
true.
it was
Yeah.
literally slapstick humor.
Exactly, exactly. So
But
there
the-
was a comment in the chat that I wanted to ask Thrash Odin. Thrash Odin said, "When I was little, I only saw the first 10 minutes, to Java Book Geek Girl. Thrash, have you seen the whole movie since then?
Moderator
That's the
hasn't.
question.
Moderator, I'm looking right at you.
What?
Into your soul, mate.
Hasn't
guys,
seen
hi.
the movie The
So-
Princess Bride?
Tonight,
What you want to do?
homework. Although I wonder, read it. I don't know. I
Dude,
feel like
you
should
have
just
to watch it. You
yeah.
gotta watch it before you read the book.
Hashtag
you
not
gotta
my
watch
buttercup. But the one thing that I do like is that when he dies, just the way that she changes and
did like that, 'cause we
and
didn't
when
really
she
get that in the
comes
film.
out, in point of fact, she had never looked as well. She
Mm-hmm.
had entered her room as just an impossibly lovely girl. The woman who emerged was a trifle thinner, a great deal wiser, an ocean sadder. This one understood the nature of pain, and beneath the glory of her features there was character and a sure knowledge of suffering. She was 18. She was the most beautiful woman in 100 years. She didn't seem to care. And I hope, I don't have a ton of hope based on his writings so far, but I hope that when they do reunite, they get to know each other better, and that is at least hinted at that they didn't know each other right away. It's different from in the cinematic version where they know right away, you skip to the beginning, it works, the pacing works. But in this one, and they do get to know each other better, and they argue and they banter, and that's part of the fun, is that they keep, just like her parents, where it says they banter all the time.
That was so cute.
I liked
was
that a
sweet.
lot.
They
Yeah, it was
hated
great.
each other. The most excited thing that they could ever do was leave each other, but of course they're still together.
Boom,
Because-
don't leave,
yeah.
don't. Because as soon as you die, I will die not that long after.
Because
I need
they
you
liked the
to
back
keep
and
me,
forth,
yeah, to
and
keep
so
me
I'm
alive.
hopeful that that's hyped up a lot more
Yeah.
in this version because it's so quippy.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back
Guys,
to...
Thrash Odin hasn't seen the film yet either.
Okay, guys.
Guys, I think that this is... Guys, can I
booed
say...
by the entire team.
Can I just say that my philosophy from the beginning of the show has been I'm always a guy that watches the movie first and then reads the book.
Right.
And I'm always told by everybody else I've ever met in my entire life or who has ever existed, you're wrong, Hector.
Yes.
You're wrong.
Except
Not
for
with
one
this.
book. Except for one book.
And I think it's a Princess Bride.
No, it's The Notebook.
Oh,
it's
the
still The
Notebook.
Notebook. Don't ever
the
read that
Notebook.
book.
Yeah,
but
don't
watch
read
the
it.
film and then read it.
Don't ever
as
read the
opposed to
book.
don't ever read
read
the
the
book.
book.
Great, but I think that the Princess Bride might be a book that is enhanced by watching the film first.
I think so too.
And this is
I
like the best
agree.
example of that. I can't
Yeah.
think of another example of that.
We'll have to
Yeah.
reassess at the end.
We
but
absolutely will.
Yeah.
But
Because
maybe
I'm not
it's so
willing
tough
to
to.
give it to
Maybe
you
it's so
yet.
tough for me to because look, guys, the movie is really like cheesy and in moments low budget, and I wouldn't want somebody to read this and create this sort of very like like.
God, I took that personally for some reason. I'm
but
sorry.
but in
Like,
the best way. But in the best
cheesy.
way.
I was like, oh.
It's-
Well, Patty Jenkins recently actually
Yes.
said a
Yeah.
great thing about cheesy, and I'm going to cry.
I
It's
love
sincerity.
cheesy. I mean, I'm even talking about like the score of the film is very like
So,
there's
but-
little moments that are like synthesized, and it's not the sort of movie doesn't have the budget and
we
as
suck.
other. But that's great. What's that? I suck.
He loves them.
I love it though. Look, I didn't want a movie.
But I think it's playing on those tropes, right? It's playing on
exactly.
the idea of a
Exactly.
classic
Maud.
romance, but then it's not.
Hang on, I got to
it's
win
more
Maud back
fun.
over for a second because I lost her completely. Maud, Jaws is great because the shark didn't work, and Steven Spielberg had to work around those restrictions.
Yeah, but he completely changed what it meant for the monster to be hidden.
Yes, but if the shark worked, we would have gotten a shittier
But
movie.
you know what he didn't do? Jump the shark.
Well
No,
done.
at least not in the first one.
And Finn.
Finn!
Okay.
Na-na.
I
it.
got it. Okay, I got it back. Great. But I think you're right, Rachel. It plays on those kind of tropes and everything, and it just
Let's
makes it
drink
better.
a glass of wine before the show, Maud. What's the worst that could happen, Maud?
So the first chapter is chapter one is the bride, and it is
the
about
second half a lot more than the. Well, I like the Duchess or the Countess.
Countess, yeah.
the Countess. Yeah, interesting character. The
I actually really like the intro with
one, the bride. Yeah,
the beginning about all the different beautiful women in the world.
the ranking of the most beautiful women in the world.
My
Yeah,
favorite,
most
and this probably won't
beautiful.
surprise anyone, is the one about the Duchess who loves Annette, the French scullery maid, and
So she dropped chocolates all around the house.
yes,
Yeah.
but I love everywhere you looked, bonbons, Candy Castle, all that stuff. But then when she Annette never had a chance. Inside a season, she went from delicate to whopping, and the Duke never glanced in her direction without sad bewilderment clouding his eyes. Annette, it must be noted, seemed only cheerier throughout her enlargement. She eventually married the pastry chef, and they both ate a lot until old age claimed them. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Annette
Good
is
for you,
probably
Annette.
the happiest person in this book.
Good
More
for you,
power
Annette.
to her,
Do you
and
know
that
what
made me happy.
You know
Yeah.
what I noticed about a few things as well? all the examples, they all started with A. So it's as if he's going alphabetical order. A.
Buttercup.
Buttercup.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
notice that.
That's very good.
I don't know
That's
how.
very good.
I
We've
don't
got,
know why.
Buttercup's
That's what I
backstory,
missed.
which is interesting, how poor she is, the farm boy, all of that, Buttercup's village, the parents. Wesley
so this
leaves
is-
for America. And again, if Florin is before Europe, but after America, right there, that should tell you this is all
Taxes
bullshit.
and stew.
Taxes and stew have been around
You're
forever.
really ignoring the parentheticals.
A little bit. I read a little bit faster over those.
She learns that he was killed by the dread pirate Roberts. And
Can we slow down?
yeah.
I want to do.
Yeah.
I think I want to do the vomit.
Okay, great. Please. Okay,
Oh,
I'll do a section after you. Great.
Okay. There's a few parts in here which is, she's shitty at the Countess because she's so old, yet she is looking at her sweet Wesley. She was a very long and a very green night. I love that how they described why you're green with jealousy. I thought that was kind of cool.
That was really fun.
I liked that. But is that real? Did he make that fucking shit?
He made it all up.
It's
Okay,
all
cool.
Mon,
Yeah,
everything is made up. He's
Yeah.
lying to you the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm sorry.
All right. She looked at him and then she looked away. He was too beautiful.
Yeah.
I love you, Buttercup said. I know this must come as something as a surprise, since all I've ever done is scorn you and degrade you and taunt you, but I've loved you for several hours now, and every second more. I've thought an hour ago that I loved you any more than any woman has ever loved a man, but a half hour after that, I knew that what I felt before was nothing compared to what I felt then, but 10 minutes after that, I understood that my previous love was a puddle compared to the high seas before a storm. Your eyes are like that. Did you know that? Well, they are. How many minutes ago was I? 20? Had I brought my feelings up then? It doesn't matter. Buttercup could still not look at him. The sun was rising behind her now, and she could feel the heat on her back, and it gave her courage. I love you so much more now than I did 20 minutes ago, and there could not be comparison. I love you so much more now than when you've opened your hovel door. There cannot be comparison. There is no room in my body for anything but you. Okay, I got that. That was a little bit... Okay, yeah. My arms love you, my ears adore you, my knees shake with blind affection. My mind begs you to ask it something so it can obey. Again, that's a little weird. Do you want me to crawl? I will crawl. I will quiet for you or sing for you if you're hungry. Let me bring you food if you have nothing but thirst. I will quench it for you with nothing but Arabian wine. I will go to Araby. Even though it is across the world, I can bring a bottle back for your lunch. Is there anything else I can do for you? Anything. I will do it for you. Anything there is that I cannot do, I will learn to do it. I know I cannot compete with the Countess. Again, jealousy, the green thing, it's just killing me. In skills or wisdom or appeal, I saw the way she looked at you. I saw the way you looked at her. But remember, please, that she is old and has other interests while I'm 17. And for me, there is only you, dearest Wesley. I've never called you that before, have I, Wesley? Wesley, darling Wesley, adored Wesley, sweet, perfect Wesley. I whisper that I have a chance to win your love. And with that, she did the bravest thing she'd ever done. She looked right into his eyes. He closed the door in her face.
I think
Isn't
a lot
that
of that
annoying?
was. I think a lot of that was super romantic. It made me think like I gotta step up my love talk game. I really gotta step it up.
Do you know
I
what I
don't.
thought? If a guy in
Yeah.
my Tinder days 4 years ago,
Too
when I was
much.
6, had even written a sentence
Too
of
much,
that,
yeah.
I'd be like, slow your goddamn roll, son.
Okay, but maybe after
She's
you're in a committed
17?
relationship,
I- Not to out 17-year-old Rachel as like the worst, but everyone when they're that age is kind of the worst. I hope it wasn't just me. But
Pretty
that
sure I was
feels
asking
like
guys what their favorite color was.
if I had been not the shyest person alive when I was 17, then I feel like that's
You would've pulled a Buttercup?
that's like an excerpt from my dead journal about like some not live journal, dead
journal.
So I was fucking emo, but
Wait, what was Dead Journal? Was that a separate website altogether, or
oh
was it
yeah,
just like
it
a
was a separate website, but it had the same like layout, but it was skinned darker. It was like
Do you know
purple
what that is,
and
Mon? Do you know what
turquoise.
Live Journal, Dead Journal is?
LiveJournal's like was like Blogger or like Zanga.
We know you were born in like 1998, but it's you know,
Live
just like
yeah.
journal.
It's like before MySpace, before
Yeah.
Facebook. Sorry, before Facebook, before
I've heard of
Snapchat.
Facebook.
It was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
thank
MySpace
you.
would be too
Oh, no, not
old too.
Yeah.
I used to have a shirt that was like, it was some play. It was a pun on Friendster, but now I don't remember what it was. But Friendster was only a thing for like a month, so no one ever got the joke. I was really cool in high school.
So this
but-
would have been you, huh?
Yeah, but I just feel like that intense emotion and those kind of crushes and all of that, that feels like they're showing her going from being a young girl who's never thought about boys before and doesn't even get in the village when she becomes beautiful that people are mad at her.
That was kind of
to-
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like as if you even had the audacity to ask after what you did, and it was like, what did I
didn't do anything.
Yeah, you stole them all.
Yeah, but she doesn't even know what, and so I think showing her as younger, we get Robin Wright when she already has this like, she has a very serious quality to her that becomes icy when Wesley dies, but she already has that where, if they made this now, you'd get like a plucky, 14-year-old girl to play her
It would be
before
like,
she grows up.
what was the
into
name of the
that.
actress who plays a teenage girl in like 10 Things I Hate About You? I feel like it'd be that vibe of like,
Larissa
Dad.
Olnick?
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
like
From
that.
Secret Life of Alex
Yes,
Mack?
Alex Mack.
Yeah.
Somebody,
Into a puddle.
Mostera in the chat said that they
just
think
be wound?
Mostera thinks that it's
You can in
exaggerated.
Europe. Or
that
in Florin.
It's exaggerated on purpose. It's hyperbolic on purpose, which probably is the case. That sort of. But if you're saying that it rang pretty true to 17-year-old
I keep
Rachel,
throwing
Just
the
that
book.
kind of intense.
I get angry that he's lied to me a lot, so I throw the book in disgust every time.
Yeah,
That
that
intensity?
intense like crush where you're like, oh my god, I didn't realize that I could ever feel this way ever. I definitely like, now you're like, you're pretty cool and we have a good time.
So this
But,
is
like,
my beef
you
that
know.
I have with the book.
Uh-huh.
The movie discusses only love in the truest form.
Yes.
What we got here
True love.
was utter
crush.
infatuation.
Right.
And when they're talking about the perfect kiss, when we're talking about, the truest love, when they're talking about the truest beauty, like, I think, and I really reflected on this a lot afterwards, it was the fact that, that's love only becomes love upon reciprocation. So for her to declare the love of only a few hours and like how significant it is, even
just
though
like
he
Frozen.
technically loves her back and she doesn't even know that, I didn't like that they'd based the fundamentals on infatuation,
Yeah.
and as soon as she declares it, he has to leave, and they don't actually explore the love except for a little bit of a schnogs, which was fun.
Yeah.
But
It's a little cartoonish too, and I think that he,
so that's a nice kiss.
yeah, that's a good image. But
Beautiful
it does
illustrations.
feel like, he's writing an idea of a teenage girl in love. You
Yep.
know, so it's
The idea of it.
dialed up to 11 instead of this is true love now. I'm interested to see what happens when they reunite because they're
Somebody in
not selling
the
it as
chat
true
said-
love.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said it may have been that William Goldman didn't experience his daughters going through teenage years yet when he
Yeah,
wrote this in
it feels
73.
very young. It feels like 14,
Yeah.
which was when I was.
And
on
she's
Spectrum.
gone from, I only like riding my horse, I ignore guys all the
Yeah.
time, I don't even notice guys. This guy has literally been the family slave for however many years, and she's never even noticed him, let alone knew he had a first name. And it wasn't until a woman decided to look at him a little bit too
And that
long.
happens way earlier than 17. Like way earlier.
Well,
The-
some of us are late bloomers, Rachel, so.
When you're all of a sudden like, well, my parents did send me to an all-girls school, so
Okay.
Oh yeah, same.
they become boy
Yeah,
crazy
same.
a lot earlier.
Yeah, I was at an all-girls school too. The thing I'm most looking forward to about this book is
Steven knows what's up. Being an
Steven
average
knows what's up.
teenager is the best worst thing.
Don't
Everything
bring
was
Steven
so
into this. Steven,
important.
he's cool. He's like, I'm chill. Don't bring him into this.
It's
Yeah, he
true.
was awesome.
That's another point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Continue.
Everyone's
the-
like a bit obsessed with MySpace in the chat. So what you should probably do is not look up our pages.
Oh, I deleted everything.
I
that
think also mine
I
was
don't. I
deleted,
don't think
yeah.
I did because you know how MySpace tried to have a resurgence in 2009 when Justin
Yeah.
Timberlake bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
one of the Sydney influencers that
Justin
they just decided to make MySpace cool again. And I was like, I'll have this conversation. And yeah, no, it was before it was mostly dead.
Yeah, it was.
Now it's
it was
dead,
all
dead,
the
and
way
Miracle
dead.
Max couldn't even bring it
It's a
back.
big difference. Just like the book Thrawn, I feel like when we read that Star Wars book, that the only other time I would ever read it is if I was reading it to a kid I would have one day. And still, sections in this book makes me want to read them to a kid, just like in the movie. And now I'm going to read to you guys the description of the perfect kiss as Mr. Peter Falk.
Yay!
Here we go. Gonna read the book here. May I please continue, please?
Yes, Peter.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Lick your finger. Get to the page. It's important.
There have been 5
No, you
great.
have to say okay like 5
okay.
times.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Where were we?
Okay. Here we go.
Oh
Okay.
Where were we?
There have been 5 great kisses since 1642, when Saul and Delilah Corn's inadvertent discovery swept across Western civilization. Before then, couples hooked thumbs, and the precise rating of kisses is a terribly difficult thing, often leading to great controversy, because although everyone agrees with the formula of affection times purity times intensity times duration,
That's true.
no one has ever been completely satisfied with how much weight each element should receive. But on any system, there are 5 that everyone agrees deserve full marks. This one left them all behind. That's great.
That's like a
That's
Yay!
great. I want to read that to a kid and do that voice in those eyes to a kid and have them be like, "What are you
so
doing?
scared.
Dad, stop. I'm 14.
Eyes, Dad.
I'm
Dad.
about to go into the Oasis, Dad.
Ah, shit. That's our future. Damn it.
How do you turn a page, Dad?
In my day, television was called books. And internet was called books. Oh.
And the movie started with it's a Sega game,
Is it really?
Yeah.
right?
I thought it was maybe a made-up game. Maybe a Sega.
No,
looked
but
like
It probably
Nintendo.
is now that I
You
think
know
about
what?
it.
Now that I
because-
think about it, that was a made-up bedroom. It was all fabricated. Everything was made
It's
up.
a set.
That wasn't really his grandson.
Oh my god. Fred
Don't even joke about
Savage
that.
isn't Peter.
Don't be Fred
Fuck.
Savage about that.
Oh
okay?
man, can I be Peter Falk with you for a second? That was not that was too much of a stretch. That didn't work. Here's what chapters 2 and 3 are about.
You
They're about
fucking with me right now?
Okay, wait.
Very nice.
Humperdinck, I
Humperdinck, Humperdinck,
I
Humperdinck.
take umbrage with Humperdinck.
okay. How so? Because he's like a big buff
Yes,
bald
because
guy
I
in this
like
book.
that he's a little weenie in the movie.
Yeah.
The best part about it is that he's just like he's a weenie. That's
And
the only way to describe
Movie
him.
Humperdinck would never hunt.
Yeah.
He would make all
he's
of
a-
his.
Yeah,
He's a
he
tracker.
likes. He's a
People do
tracker.
it.
He likes to do that, but he doesn't. He wouldn't like rip.
But it's not
break
him doing the
someone's-
tracking. Let's be honest.
That's
they're like,
true.
"Psst, they went left. Who went left? I've decided that they went left, and
That's
I will
true.
be right.
He's like a fake. Yeah, he's sort of the man. He's the great and powerful Oz in front of the curtain, right? He doesn't have much to him.
He's Lord Farquaad from Shrek. He's this guy
Yes.
who's you know obviously compensating for something.
Totally ripped him.
Yeah, they totally ripped off Lord Farquaad
my-
from Humperdinck. Yeah. So chapters 2 and 3 are about Humperdinck. They're about his
Oh my
zoo of death.
God.
And they are heavily edited. Princess Narina was a character who came to visit. What happened?
Nothing.
On the book?
Rivers Filch?
Nope.
It's not
Oh,
as
no.
bad as what I've been doing in my book. So
Okay. What have you? Yeah, you've been throwing it. That's
5
right.
times, 4 times.
How did you guys feel about the section with Prince Norina, who is the woman from across the river from the other country, who at first Prince Humperdinck is maybe going to marry and court?
Baldy.
She's got a bunch of hats, and then the wind blows
I
away.
like the hats thing.
I did like it, and
and
I
I
liked it.
think
Yeah.
the device, the framework device that he uses in this, where he skips over everything
Yeah.
and describes all the pages that he skipped
And
for
why they were
the
In
in there.
fashion,
hindsight,
I liked
now that
that.
I
It's very
think
funny.
about it, 22 pages of packing a wardrobe did seem a little far-fetched.
So you thought that was real? That William Goldman really cut those
that's
pages
the
out?
only
Only
can
part that was a little bit of an
What
alarm.
about wait.
But then,
I trusted
but then he
this
tries to
man.
keep the lie up by saying, like, you know, it was S. Morgenstern's critique about the excess of the royalty of the time, like it was all a satire.
Yes.
Could be real. You could trick a kid with this stuff. You really could trick a kid.
Ooh,
That's the
Plague
thing.
Wind. The Zoo of Death reminds you of a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yes, different levels.
Actually, there's this game that I used to play. No one cares, but that's fine. There's this game that I used to play on the DOS computer, and you were an @ symbol, and it was all made from all characters on the board, and you had a little dog, which is a lowercase d, and each button you would find a direction around the dungeon, and they would have a zoo in there as well.
That's
What's
weird.
the game
Hack.
called? Oh, cool.
There's a briefcase around the
those.
corner
I like those.
here.
It is a dungeon crawler game with literally the worst graphics, but 100% replayability.
Cool.
The game that made me a gamer. And
What was
into
it- what was it
fantasy.
called?
Hack.
Hack. Cool.
I think it moved
Pretty
on
good.
to be calling. It was called Rogue, in its evolved.
Maybe that sounds about right. Odifidi says has a great comment. I think that comes down to being Chris Sarandon, though. As much as
Yeah.
Robin Wright influences the love realization scene, Sarandon really influences who Humperdinck is.
Oh,
Chris Sarandon
yeah.
did such a great job with playing a weenie in that movie that that's
so
all we picture.
unlikable.
Humperdinck.
Yeah,
Love
very
her,
unlikable.
Because I loved her.
Yeah, he's just such a phony. I
Yeah.
think is really what it is, and
Which I
he's a
think-
little, and he's a coward.
Which I think the depiction of I cannot possibly marry this woman. I'm going to create a war because she's bald.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they time coded it of
Yeah.
when the
Yeah.
potential alliance to potential full-fledged war happened because his vanity
Yeah.
was just so insane.
Madam, feel free to flee.
Yeah, the 5 words that basically.
It is Douglas Adamsy too, because that section when you're reading through it and he says, "Madam, you can flee," and then he's like, "I'm not going to marry a woman who's bald," and that's the first. When I went back and I was like, "Wait, did they say that her hat? Did he burn?" And
I had
that's
to do
the
the same
first
thing
mention.
because I thought something caught on fire, and that was
And then it burned her hair off, but it was actually she loves hats because she's
Yeah.
bald, which
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
And I think too, I'm interested to see how all the characters end up at the end too, because I don't feel like he loves Buttercup, but in the movie, but he wants to win and he doesn't want to lose her.
Do you think he loves her in this?
No, I did.
Infatuated.
He clearly
that
doesn't
dialogue
care.
is
Yeah.
fantastic. In fact, that is my favorite part of the first 3 chapters. Whereas riding along and they're like, King, Prince, we do not have to continue if you do not want to. It's like, no, we've already come this far. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
do it. There she is. Boom, I'm
Yep.
in.
Yep.
And then that
Because
exchange.
she's the most beautiful woman in the world.
That's it. And you see.
She's a prize to be won.
And that's all he wanted. He goes, I don't even care what she does. I just need her to be hot stuff. So she's like an atypical trophy wife. But what I loved as well is that you see him go, hold back while I court her. I am a prince, you will marry me.
Yeah.
And then straight away she's like, I am a servant and I will not. And he's like, you refuse me? She's like, yep. And he's like, I will kill you. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, my only power has been taken away from
Yep.
me. And I think he's like, she's fun, she's cool, I'll have to have her. I will actually
It's
kill her
crazy.
if she
It's
denies
crazy
me.
to think that William Goldman is saying that people that are rich and have privilege and that have been raised that way from birth don't have a good grip on reality
Huh.
and probably can't be good leaders.
Not really a strong
It's crazy
moral
that that's
compass.
it's crazy that that's
for
what
anyone.
Good thing
William
that doesn't
Goldman is
apply to
saying.
this day and age.
No.
Yeah, it's archaic that
Bunch of yes
sentiment.
men
Yeah.
around them.
Anyway, weird. Another thing that's in those last couple chapters is the king and his mumbling, which I thought was really funny. The parenthetical mumbling and the translation of that.
I pictured the king from the film in those scenes.
kissing her
100%.
hand.
Yeah,
She
he's
kissed
sweet.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Real
gonna take
sweet.
a lot of willpower. I want to watch the movie after I finish the book before the last
Agree. That's the one I'm gonna
episode.
do it.
But it's gonna take already. When I was reading this, I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm
Yeah.
canceling all my plans. I'm just gonna go home. And
Not only did I watch the movie, I watched all the special features on my 25th anniversary Blu-ray of The Princess Bride.
Are you
gonna
listening to the
buy that.
soundtrack while reading this?
Oh, you guys are making a
Oh, I'm
mistake by
gonna do
not
that.
doing it.
Oh, I'm gonna do that. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
My love is like a storybook love. It's so good. It's so good.
Is that
you
Michael
guys?
McDonald? Or
That's no. It's I think the guy's name is like Willie DeVille, but it's basically
Oh
like a
my
Michael
God,
McDonald.
that's
My
amazing.
love is like a
When they're
storybook
like riding
love.
off on horses, and I'm
Yeah.
just like praying for the
greatest.
horse that Andre's riding on, being like, please don't break your back.
Oh my god.
Oh, poor Andre.
I know we haven't even met.
Cannot wait to meet those
I
characters.
mean, the cast of characters in this is so incredible and so iconic, and we haven't even met all of the
Yeah.
really great, the actual sort of comic relief
Hold on.
characters.
So
of
did he
this.
write the book before the screenplay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Yes.
book did come first.
The book came
And-
first, and
and
then
then
he
an
adapted it,
adaptation.
and
I think
Rob
this is
Reiner
also true.
directed
I
it.
think that when he wrote the screenplay, he wrote the role of Fezzik for Andre the Giant.
Right, that
Because
makes
William
sense.
Goldman was aware of Andre the Giant. Remember, he was a wrestling superstar.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
on Earth knew who he was.
Yes.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
on Earth knew who he was. So
Also, just because it's relevant to the conversation we have that's not about anything relevant, I don't think it had come out at the time that he wrote this, but he also wrote All the President's Men, which is one of the greatest movies ever and just super
Yeah.
funny.
Oh yeah. Great screenwriter. Great
Yeah,
screenwriter.
but I like
yeah.
that. I feel like sometimes screenwriters can't. You see novelists try to adapt their work to a screenplay, for example, Fantastic Beasts, and doesn't always work. But he knows cinema so well,
Yeah.
the cinema, that I just think all the changes so far that I've seen him make are perfect, and they make such a perfect film.
Agreed.
But I can't wait to see Vicini and sort of all of the beginning
Fezzik,
intro
Inigo
scenes
Montoya,
with all
the
of
Cliffs
them.
of Insanity, everything.
Hurry up!
Question for you guys. I know
Move
my
the
answer.
thing.
Thrash Odin is asking, do you guys want me to watch the movie
Watch it
now,
now. Watch it
or
now.
right
Watch it
before
now.
we
So
finish?
the book, so you can actually have
Yeah.
fun with the rest of the book
I
instead
wouldn't
of
say
going
that
in blind.
for almost any
Yes.
other book.
This is it.
This
We found
one.
the book that the movie is better, and you should watch the movie before reading the book.
I will
It
agree with you.
exists.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
You know, I have another one.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
No,
agree.
it's a weird. Oh,
Lord of the Rings,
nope,
Golden Compass.
it's not
I
any
agree.
of those.
No.
Oh, you got
It's now I'm gonna
Ender's
forget what
Game.
it's called.
book is
White
based on the movie?
Oleander. White Oleander.
White Oleander. Okay, cool.
What?
With Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes,
What?
Michelle Pfeiffer. Okay.
Cool.
Someone will know. It's fine.
I'll watch White Oleander. Let's read it.
It's
Let's
good.
do it.
The book's good.
Cool. Yeah, everybody's saying kind of right before, but I'd like to see how I feel about the movie after reading the book. It's tough. I mean, yeah, I would also like you to read the book and then watch the movie, but you'll probably be like, the book was better. The movie didn't meet up to what was in my head. And I don't want you to ever think that about the movie The Princess Bride. Do you know what I mean? That's my thing. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, it didn't match what was in my head, because
Please
The
don't. What are you
film is
doing?
so
You were
good.
The
topping
film
you
is so
up,
good.
and then that is all in my glass. That's what happened.
do you want some? Do you want my class as well?
No, you should put some of. Hey, we could do this
We're
not
out.
on camera.
Yeah, we're all
What I want to say is that please keep in mind, and this is what's happened with a lot of my friends, because this is my favorite movie in the whole world. I was getting a lot of my adult friends to watch it for the first time, but I built it up so much because it is a movie. Actually, we didn't ever say this. When was the first time you watched the movie?
I literally can't remember because
Neither
I
can
I was 7.
watched it when I was.
I was 7 years old.
I'm
It
sure
was
that it was on TV at some point.
I had
Yeah.
it on VHS,
Yes.
and I watched it all the time, but I can't remember a time I watched it for the
I remember
first
where
time.
I was
so-
sitting in the classroom. This had such an
I
impact
may have
on
seen it in
me.
school too. They showed it in school. They
Really?
did. Yes, they showed it in my
So
school
you
too.
know, like 2 weeks before you go on your Christmas break. I don't know if it's the same here because you guys have different year.
yeah,
parts
we
of
had
the
year
year.
Totally
schools.
different.
So yeah, we finished school at the end of the year, and like 2 weeks out, all teachers ran out
Check
of bucks
out.
to give.
Yeah, yeah.
So they put this movie on, and I was just like
That's universal.
front and center, so into it, and I remember just. It washed over me, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is the best thing ever." And I was like, "Well, when can I watch it again? When again? This is my life. I want to be
Then
Buttercup."
did
I
you
was
go find it? Did you go?
blonde.
Of course, you were, and you still are. Did you go get the VHS? Did you go? Yeah, that's why.
Maybe that's why.
That's why I love Aladdin.
My voice was a
Beauty,
kazoo.
Beauty and the Beast, y'all.
Oh my God, we really are Aladdin, Belle, and Buttercup.
I
in
dye
alphabetical
mine
order.
dark too. Like if this is not mine, yeah, there.
No.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, I think I don't remember a time when I didn't have
A little
the
town?
movie on in a Quiet Village. When I would go see my dad, you guys should have seen us at your Disney.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I was
other
like, request
level.
one song, and you were like, Poor Unfortunate Souls. I was like, okay. And it was
Boom.
like,
I'm not
arms,
picking a
legs.
basic Disney princess song. I'm picking the best Disney song.
Oh, yes.
We should just do that every day. So when I was younger, so my parents split up when I was 2 before I can remember. Super grateful for it. I'm one of those families where if my parents had been married, wouldn't have
can I-
been super great.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. My parents split when I was in college.
You
and
wish they didn't
And
earlier.
I'm grateful that they did then, only because I'm like, would I have been a different person if they split when I was 2?
That's how
and
I
I freak
feel
out
too.
about that. So the grass is always greener, but like sometimes I think like, man, y'all could have done it way sooner and gotten a lot of stuff out of the way so that I could have been
There's-
cool. But
There's certainly pros and
Yeah.
cons, and it was definitely not.
My parents are still together.
That's great.
In fact,
That's so
they
great.
can't get up and get a glass of water without kissing each other on the lips, just in case.
so great.
my
I think
love is like
they would
a
miss each other
story
too
book
much.
love.
It's true.
Wow.
Love.
Woo, wow. Yeah, my parents are like,
It's all
really
about
in
that
love.
marriage.
Oh,
It's great.
It's great
it's
though.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
If I can't relate, is what I'm trying to say.
That's it was.
Thanks for bragging,
no,
Mom. Thanks for fucking bragging about it.
I did
It
nothing.
was
Cool.
It was nothing to do with me. I did nothing.
It was devastating. So you would go visit your dad, and you would have
Well,
Princess
so
Bride there.
they were both here in LA, and I would go see my dad, and my dad is a lawyer, and so he would work a lot, and I would. Oh my God, we're gonna have a talk about that, Stephen. But I used to go.
You.
Yeah.
Did you write that?
Yeah.
You've never seen The Little Mermaid?
I wasn't allowed to
Why?
because it
Boobies?
glorified
What?
deities that weren't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Simpsons? No, right?
Oh no, I watch The Simpsons all the time.
Okay, cool.
You
Cool,
gotta
cool.
catch up.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Amazing.
I had the opposite,
amazing.
where my parents were not paying attention,
Yeah.
and especially my dad because he was working a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would go to the Blockbuster right by which is now a Ferrari store on Wilshire Boulevard.
Sad.
But I used to go to the Blockbuster and I would rent the same movies until my dad finally just bought the VHSs to keep there when I was
Yeah.
there, and it was Princess Bride.
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back,
Amazing.
Labyrinth, Dark Crystal,
Mm-hmm.
Princess and the Goblin.
Wow.
I already had some of the Disney ones, but I watched the same ones like every weekend. And I told you guys this last week after, but I'll tell everyone. So when I was little, I would watch The Princess Bride over and over and over again. And my dad got to know it by just being on in the background. And I should actually get him to do a video of this because he loved the humor in it.
That's right, you told me.
But
He
wasn't
would
paying
quote it.
attention.
Butchered the quote.
Yeah, so he loved the Vicini part
Yeah.
of the sort of like, you know.
Surely,
Yeah.
I cannot pick the wine in front of you.
Yeah, and it's very complicated dialogue that's really, really great. But my dad's version of it that he would do with me when I was little was like, he would switch our like drinks and where we would get dinner and he'd be like, you think that I think that you think that I think that
Dad.
you think, and that was his version of it. And so,
So
I'm
cute.
gonna send him a message and be like, he won't do it, but I'm be like, record what you think of when you think of The Princess Bride because
That's
it
so
was
cute.
just
Do
this
it.
thing that I watched so much that I literally can't remember the first time I ever watched it.
If we do that, I'm gonna have to get my mum to do her Jabba the Hutt impersonation because it's.
How did we not get her to do that when she was here?
I'll show you guys a funny video I
I
have
forgot
of my,
that you
of
guys
my-
have met her, and that makes everything so much worse when I said that. Because I was
What
having
is it?
Well, I was
Did she
having a
do the
dress-up
laugh?
party, and
she
she was
did.
like, "Oh, where should I go?" I was like, "Jabba the Hutt," and she's like, "Wabba da do da da Han Solo."
Yeah. Go Mod Mom.
I thought it was
That's
gonna
awesome.
be Dan Casey. Ew.
Well, that's just getting gift.
Oh yeah, keep doing it.
Well, I already did it.
Dan Casey when he's feeling like sassy, which is all the time.
Yeah.
I'll just hear him go, ho ho.
He does do that. Oh my god.
That's great.
So good.
That's so great.
So the first time you watched the Princess Bride was when you were young and you had the VHS and you were at your
I
father's
don't even
house.
remember.
Yeah.
I must have been like 4 or
I
5.
was in
probably.
my youth and I knew the movie was like from real little. I knew it was like kind of scary, kind of sweet, kind of funny, and didn't know that it didn't make a lot of money when it first came out. I didn't know what year it came out. It came out the year I was born, 1987.
I thought
And
it came out 86.
87 is the year that
87.
it was released.
But it was shot in 86.
Probably shot in 86.
when
But
no one was born
the
here.
older we get, the more we appreciate. No one was born in '86. I'm
That
the
sounds
oldest one here,
old.
super old. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I really want people to watch it tonight. If you guys haven't seen it yet,
Is it still on Netflix? Can we get that confirmed or
I
not?
don't
Because I know
know.
it was
I
on
have-
Netflix
It was
for a
on
long
Netflix.
time.
That's
But you know
why-
they're like
Amazon.
they're temperamental.
that's why I have it on Blu-ray, y'all. So just kind of to wrap it up, guys. And also, Steven, can you do me a favor? Can you go through every Disney film ever chronologically, please, and just knock them all out? I would
Can
really
we
appreciate if you
please
could do
watch?
that.
I'm actually the worst person to watch The Little Mermaid with because again,
Say
and like
everyone.
I'm
don't ever
talking
watch
start with
Princess
Snow
Bride
White and the
with me.
Seven
Yeah.
Dwarfs.
Oh,
like
me
you need.
too.
Okay, then do Pinocchio.
Seen that one.
You're a
Then
real boy
do-
now.
Not on Netflix.
It's
No.
not on Netflix anymore.
What about
It was
Hulu
for the longest
or
time.
Amazon Prime?
Well, whatever. You guys can track it down. That's why I buy Blu-rays, y'all. I never have this problem. I'm like, what? It's not on. I got it right here. Yoink.
I think this is
Throw
the
it
one
out.
I've bought on
Yeah.
DVD the most.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I've
buy
moved
this.
so much.
You have to.
I'm going to
You need
because
it.
I want to watch the special features.
They're amazing.
I love special.
Hearing Mandy Patinkin talk about this movie, like, made me tear up this afternoon. It made
The
me tear
only
up.
way this movie could be better is if in the deleted
I
scenes
know,
there was a
Mandy
musical.
singing. I know.
You know, a real hero would have actually brought the DVD with us, with them, and then like given it to.
You're
A
a real
Wesley
piece
type-
of work, Mon. You're
a
a real
Wesley
piece
type.
of work. As you wish. All right, I'll bring it next week. So how did you guys enjoy the first section, and how does it compare to the movie? Just give me
Very
like
different.
overall thoughts. Yeah.
They're very, very different than what,
Yeah.
what we're reading here and what we actually see in the book. The first thing is condensed.
Yes.
There is a condensement happening here where what you see in about 2 minutes and 36, we have gotten in 3 chapters. A lot of it plays out differently. So it surprises me that the same guy is behind both
Yeah.
concepts. They're vastly different. One of them is very tongue-in-cheek. The other one is kind of a little bit more serious in a way. And I'm not sure how much the studio had a say in that.
But you know what's really funny about that is that William Goldman saw This Is Spinal Tap, directed by Rob Reiner, and went, this guy gets it. And I think because Rob Reiner's irreverent humor and being able to sort of make fun of established things in film or whatever the medium was. I mean, I think at its bare bones, Princess Bride, the book and the movie, they're similarly making fun of fairy tales while still trying to live in them and be genuine about them. But the movie just does it so much better because you feel emotions in the film.
Yeah,
but I
I
think the
think the
bare bones
humor-
skeletal structure of what the Princess Bride is there. It's a story that's making fun of fairy tales and making fun of itself and blah 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 blah.
It's not really making fun of itself. I feel like it really is an epic tale that encompasses a lot in it. I would say that Men in Tights is the Spinal Tap of Princess Bride.
Sure. I'll give you that.
Also Carrie Elway.
Yeah, of course.
I think
Which apparently
too-
we've been recommended to read his book because he actually does describe about a lot of the behind the scenes stuff
I'd love
that
to.
actually happened on set,
I'd love
not
to.
like this fuck
Yeah.
knuckled.
we should have
wanker.
an Alpha Book Club Discord so that we can have movie nights and we can all just chat along. That would be
That'd
really,
be great.
really fun.
That'd be great.
I will say I think that the humor here's where it is in the film. We get this humor from characters like Max. We get it from Vicini,
Yes.
and so it's contained to characters. But the romantic leads, while they have humorous moments, that seriousness is addressed. But that it's I mean, when you think of have fun storming the castle and all
Yeah,
the
thank God it'll
things-
work.
all of that is very similar.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the parentheticals in this
Yes.
is partially those characters and the grandfather. That's
Agreed.
how they visualize that is he's asking Fred Savage is asking questions and Peter Falk is answering them, and those are the sort of breakaways of like, well, we can skip over this part because
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
like kissing.
No.
Just more
It's okay. You
Brits.
can
not
read
so
it.
bad.
It's not so bad.
My favorite part about the movie, which I'm excited to see within the book, is the transformation of Wesley.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
we originally
to
see
the
this
Dread
guy
Pirate
as you wish,
Roberts.
as you wish. Like
So-
he's got a very different look, very baby face.
Yes.
Very smitten, and then you see him as a completely different
He
person.
gets a goatee.
He gets not only a goatee, he learns how to fight. He learns how to live. He learns how to control a ship. He learns
And he pushes her around.
he's a completely different guy
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of been very, very hardened. And he does get some amazing comedic lines in the movie as well, where it's like, Betty out the front, get us from the castle, little thumb wiggles got you excited? Little thumb wiggle.
So does knowing what's going to happen next hamper or hinder any of your
I'm
enjoyment
excited
of the book?
because I know the movie
Because you know
so
it.
well.
It's like watching a movie over and over again. I'm in the same boat. It's not. I'm looking forward to meeting Inigo Montoya in the book. It's not. I'm not bummed that I know how
man.
this is going to end. Like I cannot wait for that to happen. So
And I'm interested to see what makes it into the book that maybe wasn't in the movie, but maybe still has the at least the comedic aspects of that. I feel like some of the setup of even just taxes came before everything, or the
Yeah.
cactus bit. I like those tiny bits of the narrative that have nothing to do with anything, but they're really, really fun and clever. And that's when I get kind of mad thinking about the narrator that we met in the intro, and I'm like, I don't want to laugh at your jokes. I don't want you to think that you're
Yeah.
funny. But I don't know that that's really him. But I just I kind of wish I hadn't read that part because it put me in like a sour mood
too.
towards him. I was like, I don't like.
but
this
I'm a
guy at all.
I'm a completist. I'm a completionist. I got to read every stupid word in every one of these
And
books
now
we
we're
read.
into the story,
Yeah.
which I like so
Yeah.
much more than the intro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got quite a few INFJs in the chat. I'm ENFP, so that's very interesting.
I don't know what I am. I actually do that later.
Oh yes, you should.
It's a lot
It's
of fun.
I should do that.
fascinating. I'm
Okay.
an INFP.
Can you guys send me a link or something?
Yeah.
Figure that out. Cool. Thank you.
It's
I
on my
came
Facebook
powder.
page.
I'd bet my life on it.
Yeah, I okay. Yes. I okay. Yeah. The way he says it all,
he
it
does,
sounds so
he
nice. Show it off. Show off. Okay, I'm getting excited again.
So
We've got
smell
2
nothing.
minutes. Got to wrap it up.
So guys, this was super fun. Watch the movie if you haven't. Find a way to watch it legally or illegally. I don't care. Watch it illegally. Just go buy it. Just go. This is a movie you should own.
Yeah.
You should absolutely own
I'm
it.
sure you could buy it on Amazon to stream
Yes.
or iTunes or
Rent it.
something like that for $5. I don't know.
It's
how much
worth
it
$5.
costs,
It's
but-
worth $10 to
Probably
rent.
even on YouTube at this stage. I think you can
But
rent on YouTube.
Maud,
as
you
well.
mentioned earlier about building it up too much. How would you not build it up to somebody who's never seen it before? How would you pitch it to somebody who's never seen it so that they don't?
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say this is the movie that shaped me. This is my number 1 movie of all time. I love it. I love it.
Okay, that's a little.
And
That's a little. That might be
yeah.
a little much.
in hindsight, you were exactly right. And a lot of them only lasted halfway through, and they're like, "I'm."
Are you serious?
I'm
You
not
made new
interested
friends,
in
right?
this. Absolutely, yeah. I don't talk to these people at all.
You got to
anymore.
cut the fat. Sorry.
They're just like, I don't really connect with it. I think you had to have seen it when you were younger, and then you're basing it all on nostalgia. And when you grow with the movie,
You love it
then
more.
it makes more sense. But when you're used to seeing, the types of movies we're seeing these days, it'll
Yes.
never be like the Princess Brides of
Yeah.
the world. So that in itself, you've got to kind of. My suggestion would be like, hey, did you watch Willow? Hey, did you watch The Labyrinth? And like,
I
get
was
them
gonna
back
say,
to that
what's
headspace.
your version of that? Because if yours is The Princess Bride, mine is definitely Labyrinth.
That's a good
Where
point.
And
I
Willow's
wouldn't
another
recommend that adults
Right.
necessarily watch, but
Right.
that
Oh, you didn't see it
we-
when you were a kid? Well, try to watch it, but you
Yeah.
probably aren't going to like it
A lot
because
of
you're not a kid.
puppets.
Yeah.
Bowie's dead.
Yeah.
So that'll really hurt to see it.
man.
yeah, oh, it's
Yeah.
it's
I
hard to
don't
watch,
know.
but also like that made the like sense of humor that you have probably came from that. All the weird, spooky gothic shit that I like came from Labyrinth. Like,
Yeah.
what's yours?
If
Before
it's
we go?
not, it's probably Princess Bride. God, I'm sure, like 80s. You're just asking kind of like
when you
80s,
the
like,
film that like shaped you as a kid that you're
Mine was
your
Princess
number
Bride
one.
and Willow, which is why I'm so into fantasy.
It wasn't a film for me. It was a TV show. It was The Animaniacs. Shaped me as a human being.
That makes sense.
Morality, sense of humor, wit, quickness, jokes, pop culture references, Animaniacs. I
Yeah.
can trace a lot of that to the show.
That was
Animaniacs,
like
yeah.
an energy drink for me as a kid,
Yeah.
where I was like, I don't need to be on that level of hype.
Oh, you do though. It's the best. I think so, Brain. But where are we going to find a pair of pants? At this time of night. Where are we going to find a pair of pants that big at this time of night? Oh, I butchered it, guys. Your homework for next week.
But your Peter Falk was really
It was
so
pretty
good.
good.
That was
Peter Falk,
Os-
pretty good.
Oscar
There
worthy.
we go. That was terrible.
That's so
Your homework
Okay.
this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, where were we?
Where were we?
Okay.
Grandpa, you read that part.
You read it
Oh, you're
already?
right, you're
No, he
right.
says you read it already.
You read it already.
Yeah, I know that because I was like, that's a weird line.
You read it already. Your homework for next week is to read up until page 172.
Hook! Sorry.
172 into our in our edition, our illustrated edition, which is until the end of the fight. Spoiler alert between Fezzik and the Man in Black. The line is 2 down and parentheses the hardest, 1 to go. Don't forget, we are also on Goodreads. Search Alpha Book Club and come discuss with us if you're interested in joining us via Skype, which I think I'm pretty drunk right now, but Thrash Odin, was that the guy's name? He was like maybe gonna Skype us next week, which would be rad. And if
I'm
he's-
not here next week,
and-
guys. I'm going to be in Australia. Actually,
should
no, at
just
this
Skype
stage
in.
I'll be, definitely in Australia. I
middle
should
of the
Skype
night.
in.
You should Skype in if you
I
can.
can Skype in.
If you can, that'd be amazing. And Thrash Odin, if you are barely going to watch the movie tonight for the first time or in the next week, for anybody that has not seen the movie and are going to watch it for the first time,
I'm on a flight.
dude, Skype in and tell us what you thought about it and be real. Be real. Be like, I did not like this movie. It was too much for little kids. We want to hear it.
We'll still be. We'll still,
I'll still
like
love it.
you.
It'll still
we
be
still
number
love
one.
you. Yeah, we get it. But
And then, of course, week 4, the last week, the final week, we are all dressing up. If you
Yes.
want to dress up and Skype in,
Hello.
Yeah,
that
send
would
us
be
pictures with
amazing.
the
Yeah.
hashtags.
Tweet us.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
Thrash
definitely
Odin's
happening.
movie is Brave Little Toaster. That's such a great movie. I've had a dream for years in Hollywood for them to do a live action remake, basically with computer generated appliances. I
spoke
think it could
about
work.
What?
Didn't we
I
speak
think
about
it
this?
could
It
work.
didn't
Talk
really
about
make it to
this.
Australia, and you had to explain it to
We
me. And
have.
I
Brave
was
Little
like,
Toaster? Maybe.
And I was I think I need to be a kid when that came
Yeah,
out.
Yeah,
probably.
you
It's not,
definitely
it doesn't hold up.
100%
So guys,
do.
let Courtney know in the chat if you want to Skype us via Skype. She'll get that thing started, or on Twitter at Joint Team Alpha, and she's going to help move that process forward. Send us your recommendations to @Nerdist, @Geek and Sundry, or @Joint Team Alpha with the hashtag Alpha Book Club.
We need a
Stick
book-
around.
We need a book after this one.
We need a book after this one. Stick around, guys, for Choose Your Destiny. You don't want to miss it. And good luck storming the castle. Bye.
And send us your favorite childhood movies because that's fun.
Bye.
On Twitter.
You think it'll work? It'll take a
miracle.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Liar.